Hello, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about the Jacobson's organ form and function by Andrea Cross, Julia Muniz, and Natanya Flores. To begin, we're going to talk about the vomeronasal organ, or VNO. It's also well known as the Jacobson's organ and part of the olfactory system, which is a sensory system responsible for the sense of smell. It's typically located towards the base of the vomer bone or nasal cavity, aiding to the processing of outside stimuli and chemical signals of different behaviors and interactions, although location and structure does vary across species. It's originally named after Ludwig Levin Jacobson, a Danish anatomist who discovered it in 1813.
Hi guys, my name is Julia, and I'm going to be going over the vomeronasal organ, or Jacobson's organ, for snakes specifically. So what is this for snakes? Snakes have a special sense in their mouths that we don't have as humans. This organ helps the snake to understand its environment through chemical signals such as reproductive and social interactions. So what does all of this mean? It means it helps the snake to detect chemical signals. So, like any other nose would, it helps the snake to understand and detect nearby food and water. But it can also go beyond that and help the snake to detect other snakes around it that are friendly. Maybe the snake wants to have little snake babies. It can help detect if it's able to do that, or it can help detect danger, other bigger snakes, and help the snake to decide whether it wants to run away and hide. How this works is they stick their tongue out of their mouths and flick it in the air, and then bring it back in and press their tongue up against the inside of their mouth on the top. So similarly, if anyone has ever told you to press your thumb to the top of your mouth when you get a brain freeze, it's kind of like that. It's in the same spot, and that's where they press their tongues to sense their surroundings. So the next slide that I have is a picture of a snake head, and we're going to guess where the vomeronasal organ is located. So we have four different spots: orange, black, red, and pink. And I'm going to ask you to guess where this organ is detected. So I'm going to give 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, if you guessed the red square, then you would be correct. The vomeronasal organ, or Jacobson's organ, is located in the back of the nasal cavity towards the center of the head.
Next, we're going to be talking about the vomeronasal organ in dogs. It's located in the nasal cavity of the roof of the mouth by the incisive papilla, a small bump by the front of the teeth. The organ is lined with the vomeronasal receptors or sensory cells. The vomeronasal organ in dogs scans for pheromones, which is like invisible messages from other animals. The types of pheromones that it scans for is mating, identification of other dogs, social interactions, similar to social media for humans, or other animals in the area, and territory boundaries. The process of scanning for the pheromones is by using the Flehmen response, which is where the dog curls its upper lip and begins to chatter the front teeth in order to get air to pass the VNO. The receptor cells detect the pheromones, which send signals to the brain for interpretation. Here we have a picture of a dog, and we have four different boxes. And I want you to identify where the vomeronasal organ is. So you have the pick between a red, the yellow, the orange, and the blue. I'm going to give you 5 seconds to think about it, and then give me your answer. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you said the blue box, you're correct.
Alright, so now we're going to be talking about amphibians, specifically salamanders. So salamanders have their VNO located in their nasal cavity, so that is in their nose. And this VNO detects potential mates, prey, predators, and other resources that they may need. So the way that it detects these other organisms is by picking up airborne particles and particles in their aquatic environments. So this can be anything from pheromones from the opposite sex that are wanting to mate, or even molecules that are diffused through water and are being moved by the currents. So for instance, if a salamander is searching for food in a river or a body of water, they'll tap their nose against a rock or sand or something in the environment. If a worm or an insect happens to bleed into the water, that blood will diffuse and those molecules are going to be moved by the water currents until they reach the salamander. So, because they have their VNO activated, that will actually pick up the blood within those water molecules, and the salamander will actually be able to trace the blood back to the source and capture their prey. Another good use of this is if a male salamander is looking for a female to mate with, he'll press his nose against nearby objects, whether that's a tree, moss, a rock, anything nearby. So now once he has his VNO active, he'll be able to pick up any pheromones that a female is releasing into the environment. So what he'll be able to do is pick up the air molecules that are now full of pheromones and follow it to the expecting female. Now, this is very important because males and females look extremely similar for most salamander species, so being able to distinguish between the sexes to continue the reproduction cycle is very important, and it cannot be done without the VNO. All right, where do you guys think the vomeronasal organ is? Is it going to be the red box, the green box, or the blue box? Whoever said it's going to be the green box is correct. It's going to be that little organ right in the nasal cavity.
Now it's time to play Sniff It to Win It, the VNO game show.
So for this slide, I'm going to ask what the snake is not going to use his VNO for. A mouse, B, another snake, or C, leaves. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's going to be C, leaves.
Here is the next question. What's the dog not going to use his VNO for? Is he A, use it for mating, B, for food, or C, a fire hydrant that has been marked with territory? If you said B, then you are correct. The dog does not typically use their VNO to detect food. That would be the regular olfactory system.
All right, what do you guys think the salamander is not going to use their VNO for? Is it going to be for a heron, which is a bird that is commonly found around waterways? Is it going to use it for finding worms, or is it going to use it for finding crude oil? Whoever said it will not use it for crude oil is correct. A salamander's VNO would not be useful in finding crude oil. It has absolutely no use for that.
Thank you for listening, and we hope that you enjoyed this presentation. Do you have any questions?